The suspect arrested in connection with the kidnapping of a schoolgirl in Mayfair is appearing in the Johannesburg Magistrate's Court today, together with another two suspects who were earlier refused bail. The 11-year-old girl was found unharmed, we're told, after being rescued. She was reunited with her family this week. Let's bring in Hasina Gori live for us at court. Hasina, context, history to this case. Tell us more.
Good morning, Blaine. Yes, as you mentioned, this is the second appearance of the two suspects that were arrested in connection with the kidnapping of that 11-year-old girl. If you remember correctly, in November, she was kidnapped from outside the E.P. Bowman School in Mayfair. She was waiting at the COVID protocol table where she was going to be sanitized when someone called out her name. And once she identified herself and looked up, they grabbed her. We spoke with eyewitnesses when that incident took place outside the school. The little girl spoke to us, telling she heard screaming and saw men brandishing AK-47s, grabbed that girl and put her into a Yaris. Quite a traumatic scene that was outside that school. From what we understand, the little sister was dropped off just moments before at a different gate. Before this 11-year-old was then dropped off by her mom. Her mom was driving off as this incident took place. We didn't get much information at that point with regards to the name, as well as whether or not a ransom was being asked. The family was quite mum around what took place. We spoke with the Gauteng Department of Education at that point as well, telling us that they were quite shocked by the incident. And then on a Tuesday evening, we've got confirmation that the girl was reunited. She was found in a home in Soweto, south of Johannesburg. The two suspects that are appearing today were arrested on the 7th of December. They appeared here at the Johannesburg Magistrate's Court at Court 13, where they were denied a bail. They're now reappearing today in what is expected to be a postponement. A third suspect was arrested in Mozambique on the 31st of December. That's just less than a week ago, and he is still being processed through Interpol, and an extradition is still being done. So he will not appear at this point right now. That process is still ongoing. So today, the two suspects that have already appeared in this court will reappear, and we will await for that third suspect to be extradited from Mozambique. He was arrested by Interpol on the last day of the year, last year in 2021. And once that process is done, we do know that the trial will then continue and the processes will continue. So for now, that is what the context is around this case. And we'll keep you updated as it continues. It is a developing story right now, but right now we know the two suspects who had appeared before, they were also denied bail, are reappearing here at the Johannesburg Magistrate's Court this morning.
You know, we've been reporting that she's been unharmed, but there's also an element of mental trauma that comes along with such a traumatic incident. Talk to us about what more are we learning about her, the little girl, as well as her parents. Are the parents talking to the media?
As of right now, we haven't really heard much from the family. We know when she was even kidnapped, they did not even release a name. Unofficial confirmations from people from the community have said she's unharmed, that the family is reunited, but they are quite mum around what took place and her mental state. But I can just imagine, for anyone going through that, the trauma that they underwent, and she must be going through that counseling process, as well as just checkups to ensure that both her mental and physical states are in a correct state, and she hasn't been harmed in any other way.
At this stage, it's important to know that at least she's with her family now and she's safe. That's the important part. What more, Hasina, are we learning? Obviously, the motive will be fleshed out in court, but what's the preliminary investigations telling us with regards to a possible motive here?
So from what we understand so far, there seems to be links to other countries. with the one suspect being found in Mozambique, we understand that there seems to be maybe a bigger syndicate that is operating. Police are looking at those links as well as to find out whether it's specific classes or economic status people that are being targeted at the moment, and if this forms part of a bigger syndicate or whether or not it's an isolated case. So these are just some of the information coming out. We haven't, yet, as you said, these will be fleshed out in court, but preliminary investigation saying this might be linked to other kidnappings we've seen, happen in South Africa at the moment with, other siblings, young children being snatched by their families and then quite large sums of ransom being asked. So this is something that the police and the investigating officers are looking into to see whether or not there are connections with other kidnappings that have been taking place.
Hasina Gori is our eyes and ears in court. We thank you very much indeed for your reporting.